Enjoy.
All right, here we go. Get ready to have a good time. This is exciting, isn't it?
All right, we're on.
Hello, testing.
Welcome aboard the Dreamliner.
It's the only way to fly.
I've allotted 1 hour for recreational activity. There's no time for irrelevant conversation. Fun will now commence.
Garry.
Here's a young speaker who is really in demand.
Don't let that go to your head, Garry.
But wait, there's more.
That's what I'm talking about.
He's Garry Meier.
3, 2, 1, 0.
It's 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 Central. And that means it's time for the Garry Meier Show.
Cocktail hour. Cocktail hour. Cocktail hour. Cocktail hour.
Cocktails. Woo! Drinks.
Live.
Of course, no matter where you are, and no matter who you are, it's time for a digital mimosa. On all of our live shows, we remind you about our preferred streaming platform, the GarrForce Live YouTube channel, and we ask you to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when we're live. Like and share the show on all of the social media channels. During the live show, we can even see your comments on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, which means we may show them on the screen and or talk about them. Okay, the checklist is complete. So now, fasten your seatbelts. It's time to go wheels up on the GarrForce Live.
Live.
Blah, blah, blah. Boom. Shakalaka. Welcome, everybody. I said at the outset there that we reward ourselves for getting through the week. And that makes a lot of sense because some people do not make it through a week. Murray, Queen Elizabeth, let me kick the tires and light the fires so we can get the wheels up on this monkey. And there's one more step that has to happen before everything goes into place. It has to be the release of the finger gun. Murray and the wine condom. There's Leslie with
there's the
condom,
wine. There's the condom.
That has to be released before we are fully up and going. And there it goes. Boy, that's going sideways a lot lately.
Yeah. Well, so is everything else. And Garry, so you heard that the Queen died?
Okay, before I go to my Queen hunk, what kind of wine?
It's a Benzinger Chardonnay.
Okay. Cheers, Manhattan.
Cheers. Let's pour some out.
Okay.
Whoop, whoop.
First of all, we have to do what we do every week. Keely-Ann here, the Royal Schnauzer, will be put to sleep and laid to rest along with the Queen good vibes. Oh. No. Okay, let me say
corgis. I'm sure the corgis have been taken care of in perpetuity. So.
Right. She had a lot of dogs, and that's the sad thing. Here are the dogs. They get very attached, and they know when their master's gone. So I feel bad for the dogs, but I want to say hello to some people who have checked in the comments section. Charles from RLR. Martin from British Columbia, here every week. Linda from Chicago, David from Oak Lawn. He said, do schnauzers change colors in the fall?
Oh, I don't know.
Possibly.
They probably lose their tan.
And Anthony was weed whacking today. Always good to do yard work before the cocktail show. Get your energy ramped up for the booze. Dodie or Dottie, I think it's Dodie. She said she put a crown on her schnauzer. It's a tight fit, as it could be. Amy from St. Louis and Christine from Peoria, Arizona. Amy said, we're now into soup season. Every season is soup season for me. I don't care how hot it is. I'll eat soup outside at 95 degrees. Ed from Crystal Lake. Tim from Blono. That's what it said. Where's Blono?
Don't you love some of these towns? And I want to know how it got its name. See, there was back in 1847, there was an incident involving two men in a barber shop.
Yeah, and not much was happening, and Tom became blown out. Let me go to the door. the screen door. Ken Heineman, my good friend Ken Heineman. We go way back. I've told the story where Ken and I were working at different radio stations on the all-night show, and we would coordinate after the show and meet at a Denny's at 2 a.m. and have beefadelphias. We would break beefadelphias together.
Do they still make a beefadelphia?
I haven't been to a Denny's in a while. David, Tracy, Doug, Deborah checked in, and she is a big Roast2Order coffee fan now. And Mike Mascow, as mentioned at the outset, will be here to give away 5 $20 gift cards. Yeah, 5 $20 Roast2Order gift cards. That's coming up. And Jessica from Bloomington Normal. All right. Barbara Lynn. She's sipping my sad cup of Folgers. Yeah, what are you doing, Barbara? Come on, step up.
What did we learn? How old can some of that stuff on the shelf be?
6 months to a year on the shelf. Yep.
Months old.
Okay. And Deborah and Tom from Ohio, they love their Roast2Order. Yes, everybody does that gets it. It's the best. Okay, as we are fully aware, our queen is dead. Now, this woman, let's think about this for a minute. This woman was the international Nana. She would leave the porch light on for you. That's the way it felt.
Right.
And she was around so long, we just made her part of our cultural furniture. She was always there, and nobody's going to have a 70-year run like this woman did of any kind. There's no 70-year run of anything anymore. Think about this. Nothing goes 70 years.
You know,
anymore.
had she been the monarch in 1776, we'd probably still be part of the Commonwealth, because she's an okay lady, but she's taken a lot of heat.
For what?
Post-mortem, well, for the colonialism and all the other stuff. But, you know, by the time she came around, she was one who broke a lot of that stuff up. So mostly she just cut ribbons and touched her corgis.
Right, and she was fairly apolitical, which is amazing to be on the world stage and be apolitical from whenever she started through all of this. That was pretty amazing. And I was watching the King's speech today. King Charles gave his first speech, and for those of you,
King's speech.
For those of you who've
not
seen
the one with the marbles in his
for
mouth.
those of you who've seen the movie, the following will be mildly entertaining. I pictured Jeffrey Rush off to the side giving him coaching signals about breathing. Today, the Queen, my mother of 70 years, passed away. Breathe. And before he went on, they were doing that. Now, I mentioned a few days ago the movie, and I said that Jeffrey Rush put glass balls into Colin Firth's mouth to train him to stop stuttering. A spoiler alert, he stopped stuttering at the end of the movie. The statute of limitations, or as some people say, statue, is 5 years on spoiler alerts. If you haven't seen it, okay?
Yeah.
And then
not to mention the fact it's history. So honestly, you could look the guy up and know all this stuff too.
So producer Keith hears that, because he's the producer of the show, and he's going through listening for things, and he fires off a text. Jeffrey Rush didn't put the glass balls in Colin Firth's mouth. That was another therapist. Get it right, you asshole. Something like that. It was very aggressive. And
well, that's Keith. I mean,
he's an angry man. I don't know if you know this, but glass balls is very similar to the glass ceiling. Glass balls represents executives that shouldn't be in that position. They have glass balls. Have you ever heard that?
No, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so
we
there's
have soap balls, by the way, we're going to be giving away on a future show. Oh no, it's wash your nuts.
Look at you teasing there. That's not today, though?
It's soap on a rope. No, I think we're going to hold off on this for a little bit.
There's a tease.
So you have to come back.
Yeah, there's the King's speech. And I wished he had that torpedo microphone that they had in the movie. I got to get one of those. It looks like a torpedo. And then here's how you measure from your mouth to the microphone. Yeah. I hope he did. I just pictured Jeffrey Rush. Today. Yeah.
My mother.
My mother.
Did he have sausage fingers? People are very concerned about Charles and his sausage fingers
You know
because
who
it
would
might be an
know?
indicator of other health
You know who would
issues.
know is
Who?
Camilla.
Yeah, well, she'd know all
Yeah,
about
and I
all
think
of
they
that.
talked about that when they were courting while he was still seeing die, and the sausage fingers came up. Soap
Press the
balls is a
teat,
good.
love.
Okay,
That I
Chris
will
says,
never forget that line.
what is it?
Press the teat, love. That's what they used to call the little buttons to hang up a telephone in the old days.
A
But
teat?
he was, yes, a teat.
And
Press the
so
teat,
when they were
love.
done,
Like
he
it's time
wanted
to
her to
hang up.
press the teat. Okay, and that also was code for those two.
Right.
Chris says
Everything else in order.
soap balls, good clown name. Exactamundo.
Yeah.
Think about this. Elizabeth was in her 20s when she became queen. And think about yourself in the 20s, ladies and gentlemen. I know what I was doing. I was going from a Uriah Heep song to Tom Petty on an all-night radio show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I-
my capacity. This woman is going to all these countries because it's part of the Commonwealth and talking, and she's 20-something.
She had already served in the military. We talk about now how happy we are that our life was never captured on film the way things are these days, or captured in video,
Right,
whatever
and put on
form
the
that
internet.
might be. But she was one of those first people to have her entire life documented with that kind of crystal clarity. Poor girl.
Right,
I mean,
every inch of it. And remarkably, there were no real goof ups on her part. And she got
until she gave birth to Andrew. And then
well, that was him. That wasn't her. I
that
mean,
was
I
not
know
her.
her DNA is in the boy, but okay. And the Princess Di handling, because well, the woman was very stoic because she had to be, because she was always in the public eye, as you mentioned, and
Yeah.
she kept her emotions close and her enemies closer. That was her dealio.
So who gets the purses? Golly, she has lots of those little handbags. And there was a code apparently. Like when she would have meetings in her office, the people knew that the minute she picked up her purse, it was
Yeah.
like, and the guest is ushered out of here.
That's how that works. And a lot of these people have that signal. And I was the victim of one. I
Oh,
was
really?
broadcasting from the Democratic Convention years ago, and the then mayor of Chicago was nearby. So I go up to him and I start engaging in conversation. And about 45 seconds later, a guy is in between us, and he, like some magic trick, has disappeared. And I'm thinking, I'm just getting warmed up here. But
Yeah.
he was not the best engager. I wasn't going to confront him with anything. I was just trying to have a little conversation, but he doesn't want to do small talk or large talk, as it turned out. And
Right.
he had that whole thing where I guess as soon as anybody got near him, his handler would see that, and then
The equivalent of
then
picking
it was
up
like
his
this.
purse.
It was like
and-
this, Leslie. Here's the handler right here, and then nobody behind him.
Gone.
Yeah, gone ski. Oh God. And these are public figures. That's what I like. This is your whole dealio, to be in the public eye and be part of the masses and handle what they're interested in. We're backstage. It's not like I'm some crazy person that ran up to you, or maybe I was. But
Well-
then the other part, Leslie, I would see him at restaurants, and I didn't know if he ever knew who I was, because I always made fun of him on the air. And he would come up to me at restaurants and engage, and it was very pleasant.
knew.
And I
Yeah.
thought, he either doesn't know, he does know, or doesn't care. I don't know what it was. It was a weird thing, whenever I saw him.
What's he doing these days? Just collecting money from the parking meters, right?
Collecting money from the deals he made as mayor and going to work for the law firms that were part of the deal. What a great setup.
What a deal.
Yeah. So our queen is dead, and now we have this king, and there it
Yeah.
is. Okay. And he had 70 years to watch this whole process where she was thrown in. He's got a 70-year apprenticeship. So if he screws this up, I mean, really, come on. Now, when
Now
you-
it's going to be. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, when you see these people at Buckingham Palace, looking through the gate when they're standing on the balcony, it's the same. It's the same dynamic as going to the zoo and looking at something that's different. Animals are
Pretty
different. We like to watch them, and that's the same percussion we're seeing, but it's people that are different, and they're standing on the balcony looking at the great unwashed. Look at them. Look at the masses. And we're looking at them going, wow, look at those people are so different, and they're living a life that we're never going to lead. And we like that? I don't understand that. That's a weird thing.
I don't know, but it's still a thing. I mean, obviously, people from around the world are talking about it. Hell, we're talking about it.
No, but I mean, come on. She's again, this is the last time we're going to see somebody of this caliber for that
Right.
length of time. There's nothing that goes 70 years anymore. You're lucky to get 7 months out of anything.
Well, and that's what Chuck knows is, I mean, he's into his 70s and he said something, I promise to be true to the crown for as long as I have on this earth. And it's like
Yeah.
he knows time's ticking. He's not going to get what his mom got. And
Yeah.
well,
And Camilla never becomes queen, right? There's no order there where she moves up to queen, because if there
no.
was, I could picture breakfast tomorrow, her serving him pancakes. More pancakes, governor? And then she's putting something in the pancakes.
Yeah. No, she remains, I believe, king's consort or something of that nature.
Queen consort.
Uh,
Yeah, or
shoot,
something. Okay, it's a
whatever.
title, whatever. But here's the thing. If they're doing good, and I guess he worked with a lot of charities, okay, fine, whatever good they do. But do you have to do it in a 150,000 square foot home or several 150,000 square foot homes? It's really bizarre.
I want to hope that well, obviously he wouldn't do it until the state funeral is over, and that's going to be a couple of weeks here. There's they've got the itinerary all figured out already, but the first chance he gets, I want to see like all of her stodgy furniture moving out and him going full blown Austin Powers. Like the big
Okay.
round bed
Yeah.
and the long velvet couches and stuff. He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's my turn.
Dodgy Furniture is a great clown name too. Yeah, yeah, that's that all that castle furniture. And
Yeah.
here these people are super rich, and we look at that furniture and go, I wouldn't have that in my house. Looks very uncomfortable.
But it's going to show up on Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah.
Charles is going to be wearing a mustache.
Right,
How
right.
much is this chair
Right.
worth? I have no idea.
It was in my mother's attic, and I've had it for a few years. And yeah,
I
okay.
think it belonged to my great great grandma.
Yeah. Well, we took the country from the British and made the language better and all that. So there's our grand old flag. Okay, so there's that. And we're not going to have any particular guest. We like to just jabberwocky on a number of these shows, and I hope you enjoy that too, because we do, and we don't have to mind our manners as much. And we are going to give away a wine condom, and not the walnut balls, something else that you're going to pull out of the bag, right?
You betcha.
Yeah. And when do we reveal that?
I don't know. You want me to dig in now?
Yeah. Get people all excited.
Oh, I got two things. Oh, Desert Storm gum playing cards and candy chocolate rocks. They look like rocks, but it's
That's our
candy.
candy. Nice.
Yay. There you go. Choco rocks.
Desert
Okay.
Storm, is that a recent thing?
No, this is from the original. 8 trading cards and 1 sticker from Topps from back in the day when Desert
Oh.
Storm was taking place.
Cool.
So I'm thinking, if there's, I don't know if there's gum in here, but if there is, it's going to be a little dry, probably.
Okay. That gum was always dry. That's why they put that white powder on it,
Yeah.
whatever that was, that we ate as kids. And I have mentioned that half the staff that works on this program is into the Titanic. And as much as there's the condom, and as much as I mocked that a bit, I found that I'm probably in the minority, because Fox is going to run a special. I sent this information to Keith on the Titanic.
Yeah.
They've got some new footage, I believe. Keith probably knows about this, and Ryan, because his wife's totally into it. Is this new footage, or have you seen everything on this?
It's new footage from this summer, because there's a company called Ocean Gate Expeditions that has decided that they're going to be doing an expedition to the Titanic every year to document its collapse. And so this year, this summer, they got a whole bunch of 8K video. It's not even 4K, it's 8K video. And it's actually so clear that they say you could read the writing on the anchor that nobody could ever see before. So all the way down at the bottom of the ocean, you could read the writing on the anchor.
And this
Look
is
at how he smiles.
This is new footage. Where did they find it?
No, it's brand new footage that they shot this summer. It was on their expedition. So
I thought it was because the piece I saw, that the trailer showed footage from 1912 when it was being launched, and the people goodbye, and boy, that goodbye had a lot more meaning.
No, if you pay them $250,000, you get to go down and visit the Titanic while they're mapping it out and everything. So if anybody wants to send me a check, that
it's 5 hours one way in that little sub.
Well, and the funny thing is, this company actually has a new sub that they're trying to get somebody to fund. That it'd take like millions of dollars, but it's literally like an acrylic ball. So it's like a clear ball that you're sitting in. So imagine going all the way down there for like 5 hours and sitting there in like total darkness, just looking at the Titanic, just waiting for like a kraken to show up. And
I don't know how you do it. I can't sit in the back seat of a car for more than 20 minutes, let alone 5 hours in a little ball. There's a glass ball, but it's too big to put in King Charles's mouth. Let's make that clear right now. Okay. And I saw when James Cameron, right? He's the guy,
right,
went down and sitting there 5 hours. That thing is really small.
And it's not like did you ever ride a Ferris wheel and decide, okay, time's up. I'm kind of done with this thing. And you can turn to the guy with the handle and go, okay, we're done now. You can let us off. You get 3.5, 4 hours in. There's no, okay, I want to go home now.
No, and it's 5 hours. So it's 10 hours.
Well, I know that when I know that when SpaceX had the drawing with whatever millionaire had the first civilian space flight, Misty, my wife, told me I was absolutely not allowed to do that because she kept seeing SpaceX rockets blow up. I haven't specifically asked her about this one yet, so there's still hope. Right? So again,
you would do it if you could afford it. If you could afford it, you would do it.
Oh yeah, I would definitely do it. I would be scared the entire time, but I'd definitely do it.
Wow. Okay, and speaking of amusement park rides, Leslie, I don't know what amusement park you've been to where when you say I'm done, the operator actually turns it off. I find that they make it go longer and faster.
Okay.
And that one we highlighted in India, this disc that spins around a pole goes up. And maybe somebody said when they got up there, okay, I'm done. And the guy went, you done? Okay, are you done? And he just let it fall all the way to the ground. And then they bounced off the seats. If you've seen this vid, we can't show it because it's copyrighted or flagged
or whatever. Well, and the fact that so many news channels were now pixelating the bottom. Like this is really hard to watch.
No, it isn't, because
we're still going to show it anyway.
You pixelated the good part where they're bouncing out of the seat. So it's not hard to watch. There's nothing to see. Now, speaking of news, I saw on this local TV news website, I was looking at their stories. I was looking to see if they were covering any house fires. One of the stories in their lineup was, when do we set the clocks back? And I'm thinking, it's September.
What the hell?
That's in November. It was highlighted as, we got to get ready. For what? When do we set the clocks back?
Maybe that's a good thing, that there's just not enough news to, really hard-hitting news to fill up a newscast. So we have to talk about stuff that benign. And let's face it, once we're done with the Queen, everybody's going to just be struggling to find a house fire or something to talk about.
This is soaking up so much of, the last 24 hours. And they've got all that footage of her, like you said. And it's part of what I said on the Tea show today, the costumes and the pageantry, because we don't have that here. When we see it, I kind of like watching that. And you can imagine what her funeral is going to be like. It's going to make Princess Di's ceremony look like a Las Vegas night at your local church. This thing is going to be so out there.
Did you watch the wedding, Charles and Diana's wedding? I remember people getting up at like
Yes.
4 o'clock in the morning.
No, I watched
So,
the repeat or
oh,
something.
okay, you weren't there for because we were all waiting for her to turn tail and run, but she didn't, and the
Well,
rest is history.
part of that was my radio partner and I dressed up like Di and Charles. I was Charles and he dressed up like Princess Di. Okay. Because that's what we did. We were costumers. We were theatrical.
But you were on the radio.
Oh, but we were at a public function
Oh,
where people
okay.
could see us. We didn't just do it and go, "Hey, we're dressed like that." Okay,
Hey,
we're not.
look at that.
We weren't the bad DJs you're hearing today. No, there was a visual component. Now, and it lives on. So a few months ago, a friend of mine in Los Angeles said, "Hey, I just went to this pizza place and your picture's on the wall." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he sent it to me, and it's the picture of my radio partner and I in our costumes as Di and Charles. It's on the wall because this pizza place originated in Chicago, and now they have an outlet in Los Angeles, and there I am, I guess, on the wall.
Out of all the
Yeah.
pictures they could decide to hang, it's you
There it
dressed like
is.
Chuck. That's
There
great.
it is. I'm
Do
little
we want to
Chuck.
start having people queue up for the giveaway? I'm seeing
Which
a lot
one?
of for the
Condom?
for the condom and
Okay.
the Desert Storm cards and the
Okay.
chocolates. I
Let's
see a lot of people wanting to do a royal thing. Should we do hashtag Queen or something
Yes,
like that?
hashtag Queen.
I like that.
Hashtag Queen. Start putting
Keep
it in
it
the
simple.
queue, and then the computer will pick the winner. If you've won before, please let somebody else win. And the roast to order stuff's going to be separate.
Right.
Okay, that's a
It
different thing.
If you've won before, don't do the hashtag Queen. But the roast orders, I think we're going to open up to everybody.
Yeah, we've got 5 of those, and we'll do that when Mike is on with us, so we can add him into the discussion. All right. Okay, so I want to bring Ryan on because Ryan always is very close to oddness.
Oh,
And
yeah.
this week
Oh,
is no exception. We were talking about the airdropping that's happening.
Right.
The most recent story, this plane is heading from, I believe, Los Angeles to Cabo, and the pilot's sitting there getting ready to taxi out, and somebody airdrops from the back a nudie pic, and it comes on his phone, and he gets on the PA. Listen, if you're going to do this, we're not going to Cabo. You want to go to Cabo? Right. Stop doing this. I don't even know how to airdrop, but it happens a lot on planes. We've had several stories where people are airdropping nudie pics at that plane thing in the plane. They like, because everybody's sitting there, and it goes to any phone that has that capability, right?
Right. Yes, and we use it. I use it at home a lot. If we take lots of pictures of Hank or something, rather than text one at a time, you can bundle them all together, and we can zap them between each other. So, but that's I know what I'm getting there, not like what I got today.
Okay, so set this up. You're in a public bathroom. Here we go.
No, I went to the gas station to get some fuel in a car wash, and as I was checking out, and you have to punch your pin in, there was stuff on the keypad. So I thought, I'm going to go wash my hands. So I went into the bathroom.
There's Google on the keypad.
Yes. So I went into the bathroom, washed my hands. As I'm getting ready to go, my phone buzzes, and there's a message from Cherry Garcia, which is a flavor of ice cream. And I thought,
from
what's
Ben
that?
And Jerry's, yeah.
Yeah, so the Ben and Jerry's flavor, and it's an airdrop. And I thought, I've got to. There's too tempting not to push the accept the button.
Now wait a minute. Before you push the button, it has to get your okay before you bring the picture up. It's not
right. You have to say okay. You have
up.
to say no. You have to say okay on it at least.
But doesn't that work? I don't know how this works entirely. Doesn't that worry you like spam and all the other things, and you hit something and now all of your personal information is being sucked out? Isn't it in that category?
I answer the door in my phone calls when I don't know people are coming. So what's a picture? And
that's true. You've got a history of this. You don't.
Right. I got a history in that. So
you're trusting.
What the hell?
So you hit the button and.
Yes. And then I go to the pictures and look, and if Keith, if you want to put the picture up there, and I think there's some kind of hidden message in this.
Mom, don't come in my room when I'm vacuuming. Oh,
okay.
I don't know what that was. So as I'm walking out, then I hear the man in the stall laugh and say, "The Queen is dead. Now she can be with Michael Jackson."
And I hope you scurried out, or did you have a conversation
No,
with him?
I left, and these bathrooms have a switch that said if you need attention in the bathroom, flip the switch. So I flipped the switch.
Okay, sure. Okay. So this guy's in the stall just airdropping, and apparently he heard you come in and thought, I'm going to airdrop this person.
Right. And I was washing my hands. So yeah, I think he just probably did that as kind of like they did in the plane. But it was like, what? I guess it's more prevalent than I thought. I know you talked about the plane, and I thought, that doesn't happen. Well, I guess it does.
To you, everything happens. You're in the epicenter of all kinds of nonsense.
So I don't know what this picture means. It's pulled from the internet, but I don't know what. I don't know.
I think we know what it means, but it's a weird one to send to another guy in a bathroom.
So I left quietly and just went about my business.
I'll bet you did, as he went about his. Okay. You have other pictures to share.
I do. So we talk about all the plastic and that comes out of the supermarkets and stuff. This is what I saw of a lady pushing all of her bags she saved in the trunk of her car. And as Leslie noted, she's seen people try to jam all those in those bags, but at least those boxes, but at least she just quietly put them there and left.
Yeah,
okay,
thoughtful enough to bag them. And,
that was so nice. And this is my point. This is one person's collection of plastic bags. Multiply that times thousands and thousands of people, and who knows how many recycle, but that's just one person. We're doomed.
Yes, and I walked in with her, so that's how I knew it was out of her car. She said, look, I've been collecting these in my car, and my husband said, why are you keeping these in your car? You need to get rid of them.
So she just struck up a conversation with you.
Because we were passing through the door.
What do you give? What's your cologne, Ryan? What are you giving off where odd things happen?
Crazy. Talk to me, engage me. I like crazy.
We're going to get a story tomorrow that some recyclers came upon a body that was disguised as a bag full of bags at a local grocery store.
Right. All right. And you have some other things. What's this?
This is the latest friction measuring device for the Mitchell International Airport. So this car squirts water all over the runway and then runs up and down on it and measures all of the different measurements to see if the runway is slippery before the planes come in. So they've been touting this vehicle that it's out there and that this is their way to make the airplanes more safe when they land.
And people mock me when I want to get the water cannons going again.
Yeah, this is kind of a little different twist on it, but it squirts water all over and then it has all these devices it measures. And so they've been touting these. I guess there's 5 of them since this is car 5.
Okay.
Do those
I've not heard of
tires look
this.
a little low?
The what?
Do the tires
it's got all the
look
water in there. It's got a load on it.
is that why? Oh, okay.
That's right. That's like those TV stations that have those weather vehicles where the reporter sits in back sipping either lemonade or hot chocolate, depending on the season. And then they're just telling you what you can see on the monitor. Well, it's pretty slippery out there. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's weather MF 2000 or whatever they call them.
Yep. So this is a take on your water cannons, but a little different. And then this was I think a listener shared with you, Gary, the take on the new take on a wedding cake.
Yeah, this is a cake of hot dogs. This is some famous hot dog brand, I guess, in Grand Rapids.
Yep.
And yeah, that's great. How do you cut that to get the first piece? And they're shoving one in each other's mouth, it looks like.
Yes.
It's like a croquembouche. You just
there you go.
You start at the top and just eat your way down there.
A what?
A croquembouche. Look it up. It's
look it up.
It's
go
a
ahead. I dare you.
Tower.
I dare you to look it up and then go down that rabbit hole that you're going to go down.
If you spell it wrong, you're totally going to get some nudies, but that's beside the point.
And then send it to the pilot, unless you don't want to go to Cabo. Right. Don't do it. Okay.
I will turn this plane around.
If
you show me one more croquembouche.
And you've got to warn the kids at the wedding that could be a choking hazard.
Exactly.
So put a sign by that.
Oh, that's so cute. And he's got one of those squirting flowers on his vest.
That's got nice. Pinterest written all over it.
Yeah,
it does.
Okay. All right.
That's all the crazy from Wisconsin that I have.
Okay, but you did tell me there's some politician that wants to get the Packers games.
Tammy Baldwin there's a Senate bill, Go Pack Go Act, to make sure the Packers are broadcast in every county in Wisconsin when they're playing, to make sure that every Wisconsinite has access to the Packer games.
Okay, Tell me what county would not have access to the Packers game at all at this point.
I didn't dig into the bill, but yeah, I don't know. But there's a Senate bill that's they're pushing through to try to get access. I don't get it.
Doesn't she have anything better to do? There has to be a channel that carries the Packers. It's a religion in that state.
It is. And if not, you either have it or know someone that has a subscription or an NFL access, or you go to the bar. I mean,
but it's on a local channel.
It is mostly, yeah. So maybe this is somewhere that it's not. I don't know.
What am I missing? Am I missing something?
No, I don't think you are.
And I want the Packers on every in every county, on every TV. Yeah, okay. I think that's already happening.
Yeah. So that's there was no visual on that. I didn't have time to study the act, but it's in the Senate currently in Wisconsin.
Okay, good. I hope it passes.
I hope it passes too, with some other referendums.
Now, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. There are some baseball organizations that have gone to their own channel, and you got to pay to watch them, and that's been kind of popular. I don't know how they pull that off, but if it actually gets any traction, because you're used to seeing these games for free for decades. Yeah, I want to pay for this now. How can I do that? But in Wisconsin, that seems like it could never happen.
Right. I mean, it's you said it's religion up here. I mean, it's we're people are talking about setting the clocks ahead. We're sniffling, kind of moving towards Packer season. Everybody's kind of like, oh, Packers, what are they going to do? I mean, that's already started, and we're not even there yet.
Okay, they start Sunday with everybody else.
Yep.
Unless you watched last night when it really started. And cheers, everybody.
Yep. Meanwhile, here south of the Cheddar Curtain, they unveiled the plans for the new Bears stadium in Arlington Heights, Illinois. And the controversy is it may not be a retractable roof, but it will be a covered stadium. So,
okay, nobody should be building a stadium in the 21st century without a roof. And I don't care where you live. And these people that go, oh, football weather is sitting out in the elements. I'll bet you that's about 8% of the fandom that wants to sit in freezing cold and sleet and snow. People want comfort, and especially the demographic coming up now, the millennials, they want total comfort. They don't want any hassle. They don't want to be put out by weather or anything. So you got to put a roof on it.
The idea of having your snowmobile suit handy doesn't appeal to 99% of the
that's Green
population.
Bay. Getting back to the Packers, maybe they like it, but please, I've been at games where it was 25 degrees, and when my feet get numb, you're done. I got to go. It's like the same thing when I get water in my shoes. I'm done.
Yeah,
why do you want to be uncomfortable?
Yeah, the Brewers have that nice retractable roof, and if they even smell rain, all of a sudden it's closed. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. From where it was before when it was County Stadium, and I know there was County Stadium. People liked it for the nostalgia, but the roof is just wonderful.
I saw Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young there, and I'm out on the field for several hours in the sun, and I had my shirt open, and it was all blisters for 3 weeks. I'm like, oh, God.
Good times. Yeah.
Good times. That's what I mean. Put a roof on it. If you want to see me go to a concert, put a roof on it. Beyonce said it.
I was talking to a woman who was a cheerleader, a professional cheerleader during that summer league football that they tried to float. And she was talking about how their ranks would just be falling out after like one performance. 3 of the girls would just pass out cold, and they would try every which way to keep them from dehydrating. And it was nearly impossible. The whole thing was such a mess.
Been hearing what's going on in California? It's in the hundreds in areas that normally never get that hot. You've got all the Kardashians changing their do-rag every 6 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
It's sweltering out there. And
the Brazilian butt lifts are just like sagging down their thighs at this
point. They're sagging. They're over moisting.
Melting.
That SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, that is sweet. You see that last night? Did you watch any football? You communists? Come on. That thing is unbelievable.
Yep.
That is
and
beautiful.
It's built down, right? You step down into
because it's near LAX, so they had to go down. So you enter on the 5th floor, I guess.
Right, and then go in.
That's how you build a stadium these days.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Was that time in Milwaukee? Is that when the wrestling occurred, or was that a different time when you were in Milwaukee?
What do you mean? Oh, okay. Okay. I'll tell the story. we were syndicating our morning show, and Milwaukee was coming on board. So we went up there to do some kind of thing at a club, our magic tricks and whatever we did.
Costumes?
And
were there costumes?
we were always caught. We were very theatrical. We were the Siegfried and Roy of our day. And so we go up, we get into our hotel rooms, and I'm in my room watching TV, and the phone rings, and it's my partner. He says, "Get down here right now." And he's whispering. I said, "What's wrong?" "Get down here right now." So I go down to his room, and the program director of the radio station we were coming on was sitting at the edge of the bed. And I looked and I went, "Mhm." So the guy left, and my partner said, I'm sitting on the bed with him, talking to him, and he grabs me and he starts wrestling me just out of nowhere. And I thought, okay, here we are.
Isn't that what boys do?
Or maybe it wasn't. He wasn't wrestling. He was with his assistant.
Intern.
And yeah, that was it. He was with his assistant or intern, and then they just rolled back on the bed and started wrestling in front of him. And what do you do? I think that was the same time where we were practicing our magic tricks in the room, and he was cutting me in half, and we had doves. We had the magician showing us how to do the tricks that we were
very theatrical.
Very theatrical. Like I said, Siegfried and Roy of our day. And we ordered room service, and the guy pushed the cart in, and I'm in the box cut in half, and the doves are flying all over the room. Yeah, those were the days. You don't get those days anymore.
You got paid for that shit. That's awesome.
We did. Yes, we did. And then there was the time I've told the story where we had that trick where I got in a basket and he would put swords in the basket. And you have to really be a contortionist, and the swords go just, well, obviously not in you. So you got to get into this position.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. And then he decides to sit down on the basket when I'm in there and do a 15-minute monologue. And now you talk about, that's why I'm claustrophobic. And I'm pounding on the basket, let me out of here. And I freaked out. So forget that submarine to the wreck.
Yeah, not going to happen.
No, not going to happen. Not going to happen. All right, where are we in the program? I think we should pay homage to the sponsors and then bring one of the sponsors on, Mike Mascow, and then we're going to start giving away stuff. And oh, yeah. All right, Bettenhausen Automotive is one of the fine sponsors.
A legend has returned. See the all-new 2022 Wagoneer at Bettenhausen in Tinley Park. The Wagoneer has the spirit for adventure, equipped with everything you would need no matter where your trails lead. And Bettenhausen has this most premium SUV ever built in stock, with many to choose from. Come in and see what the all-new Wagoneer offers you at Bettenhausen. Your best Wagoneer buying experience starts now at BettenhausenCDJR.com.
Okay, that's in the southwestern suburbs of Chicago, but you don't have to live around there to take advantage of those deals because they could ship, and that's what they did. I have relatives that don't live anywhere near Illinois, but they saw a vehicle at Bettenhausen and said, oh, we want that, and they made a deal. They got it shipped to them, and they're excited that they have this vehicle because it is sweet. All right, David Hochberg is a fine gentleman, and he's going to be on the show in the next week or two to talk about what's going on. Leslie, we've talked about the Prime. When he was on a number of months ago, if you remember, he said, listen, it's in the threes. If you're going to buy, if you're thinking of buying, do it now. It's in the threes. You don't know the vagaries of the market. He told me yesterday, you could go now as high as 7%. Some people are hitting 7%, 6%. It's in the fives for the most part. But he said it's been all over the place. He told people when he was on, it's 3 something.
Well, and people don't think it can happen, but you've talked about it in the past. How much did you, what was the interest rate when you first started buying? Like 12%?
12.75%.
There you go.
Yeah.
It can happen.
Yes. And we got through that. I don't know. It didn't seem so crazy. I don't know why. I don't know what was happening where it was 12.75. And then I refied down to 11.5 or something. I felt like I won the lottery. This is the guy to call because this stuff is crazy time. And reverse mortgages, he said, are the most understood piece of the mortgage industry. He
misunderstood, you mean?
Misunderstood.
Okay.
Did I say miss?
Most misunderstood. Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
Yes. Misunderstood is that award they gave to the Miss Universe person.
Right.
They didn't get her.
Who wasn't congenial.
Right.
She was misunderstood.
Right. They didn't get her. She was backstage. She was doing jokes. They didn't get her. You're misunderstood. And you're going to get an award. You get an award. All right. Now, let's bring on the proprietor of Roast2Order Coffee and Tea, Mike Mascow. Hey, Mike.
Oh, he's still with us. Yay.
How you doing, brother?
How you guys doing? Good. How are you, Gary?
Good.
Hi,
And
Leslie.
Leslie asked
Ryan.
me to ask you this past week, we were doing our show about the trucking industry. She claims there are more trucks on the road than ever. You're a truck driver. What say ye?
Did Mike freeze?
I apologize. He's offended by that question. I shouldn't have said it. And
Well,
now it's
he's
all
not
this.
driving currently. He said he's actually taking a break from the road. But are
And
you
I
with us,
shouldn't have-
Mike?
Now it's wrong, and I shouldn't have said it. And I should have said he's not. He's freezing up there, Mike. No.
And in the pre-show, it was clean
Yeah.
as a whistle. I contend that there are more trucks out there, and I'm noticing a trend as well that involves trucks using the left center lane on 4-lane expressways.
Yes.
Hopefully, Mike can reconnect with us.
Yeah,
But
the
in
center
the
lane
past,
and the left lane, and they're going along. They're not passing. They're staying in those lanes.
right. And mind you, they're doing like 65, 70 miles per hour. So at least, but I think this is what gets people wanting to pass in the right lanes now. So you've got the crazies who want to do 120 miles per hour, but
Right.
now you got crazies in the left lane and the right lane, and they're all doing this
Yeah.
because those semis have taken up the middle. And I
Need
don't
an
know
answer
what's
here.
going on, and I
We're
need
going to
answers.
find out from Mike. We really are. Okay.
Until we get Mike back, should we do you want a story just to hold us
I'll
over
take a
for
story, and then we're going to give away the condom and those other things you held up, and then all those Roast2Order gift cards, 5 of them, $20
well,
each.
Here's one that we talked about in the pre-show, and that's Sarasota native Eric Merda is sharing the story of how he survived 3 days lost in the wilderness after an alligator bit off his arm. Mr. Merda almost died because of the swim he took at Lake Manatee Fish Camp on July 17th. He says it was, quote, not the smartest decision a Florida boy could make. Understatement. Mr. Merda explains that once the gator got a hold of his arm, it dragged him underwater 3 times before going into a death roll, and that took his arm off, and then the gator took off with his arm. He made it back to shore, but then spent 3 days lost in the swamp before finally encountering a stranger who called for help. Despite his loss of blood and terrible pain, Mr. Merda, they say, actually walked himself to the ambulance that arrived on the scene to rescue him.
This looks like a Monty Python bit. If you've seen the picture, the arm is gone from the shoulder, and he is lost in the woods at Lake, what is it, Manatee Fish
Lake
Camp
Manatee Fish Camp, yeah.
and Grill. Okay, so he gets out of the woods and he gets back to the lake and decides instead of walking around the lake, he's going to swim across
Right.
the lake. And Florida water, come on.
Like
And I'm sure the alligator,
murky, yeah.
murky, it's murky. And I'm sure the alligator saw him and went, I got to take your arm off. You're an
Dude.
idiot. You're a stupido. So I'm going to do this. It's complimentary. Bites his
Right.
arm off. And then he's walking around for 3 days. How does he not bleed to death?
Well, and that's what I'm thinking. I hope he had a fashionable belt of some sort
Oh,
or something to stem the blood flow. But as it was, I guess it was not a clean cut. You know, gators aren't very particular about how aesthetically their bites
They're not
work.
surgical like you would imagine.
So they had to take it up a bit in order to close the wound
Okay.
and everything.
For 3 days, he's wandering around. And then he comes upon this guy. And the guy said, he's standing there and the tendons and the bone are just hanging out.
Yeah.
He's looking at him going, what the?
This
All
guy
right.
should be dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good
All right.
times. Do we have Mike back yet?
Keith, what's the update?
Not either.
Nothing from Mike yet.
Oh,
Maybe he's moving to a different location.
yeah. We'll go get him on. Okay. What else you got? Les?
We want to do one more here.
Yes.
Let's see here. Officials in Nigeria seized a shipment of donkey penises on their way to Hong Kong. 16 sacks containing thousands of donkey penises were intercepted at the international airport in Lagos before they could leave the country. Paperwork for the shipment claimed these were bull genitals, but sharp-eyed customs agents realized, These genitals came from donkeys, not cattle. Earlier this summer, Nigerian customs intercepted a shipment of donkey skins headed for Asia, a shipment worth an estimated $116,000. It's all part of a huge black market surrounding, you guessed it, donkey parts. It's got some in Nigeria calling for a ban on killing donkeys. I mean, an overall ban on killing donkeys, as their numbers in Nigeria continue to drop, in part because of practices like these.
Donkey Penises was on the main stage at Lollapalooza. They just shredded the whole
they
thing.
rock.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, yes.
Were they at Burning Man? Did they then go to Burning
They
Man?
should have been. They
Golly.
should have been at the Man.
I've two of my friends were at Burning Man, and they looked really dirty and uncomfortable, but they smiled the entire time. So I
What did
don't
they
think
tell
they were
you it
doing
was like?
ecstasy.
They were on ecstasy?
No, I don't think they were on
Oh.
ecstasy. I think they just enjoyed the experience.
Have you not
For
talked
one
to
of-
them since they got back?
No, not. I'm only looking at their posts on Facebook.
Okay,
But
can you debrief them and find out if it's worth going? Because I'm
Well, the
planning
one-
next year already.
this is like her 8th year of doing that. There was a hiatus,
Of
this
course.
was the first time in 3 years that they held Burning Man, but and she's not exactly like one of those club kid types. This is a woman who holds down a very important job and, isn't doing acid the entire time she's there. So I don't get the thrill, but
I know they had a real bad dust storm, and I saw people walking around, and this sand is just going sideways, and people are walking through it. I don't think so. Okay. Is Mike around? Can we talk to Mike? What I think we're going to do, Leslie,
I
if
still
we
can't reach Mike.
can't reach Mike, let's give away the condiment prizes while we're
Okay.
waiting. And everybody is lined up as hashtag queen on that one. And Keith will hit the button, and we're Marianne J. All right, Marianne, text me your address and we'll get that off to you. Leslie will send it out as soon as you get your
Chocolate
address.
Rocks, Desert Storm cards,
Nice.
and your
Nice.
very own GarrForce condom. Hey, by the way, this has come up this week. You referred to our gang here as GarrForcians.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were GarrForcers, but could we very well be GarrForcites?
I haven't locked anything in. I just threw that out
Okay.
there. GarrForcers, that's fine too. What do you
GarrForce.
like?
Well, and I noticed some other person today was texting about, hey, GarrForcians. So I kind of like it. It makes us seem like,
Yeah, like Star Wars or something.
There you go.
May the GarrForcian
Forcians be with you.
Whatever. Okay, if we can't get Mike back, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give away the 5 gift cards.
Okay.
And then I'll have him on next week, and we'll make sure he's locked in on some good Wi-Fi or whatever. He will be on, but he's going to leave those gift cards with us. And that would be hashtag Roast2Order, the number 2, Roast2Order, right?
Yep.
Hashtag Roast2Order. Put that in the queue. We're going to give
There
away
you
5 different gift cards. You will get that electronically, so you can order right away, and then he'll ship that out. He ships anywhere in the country. It's a great gift item. The tea and coffee is delish, fresh, and you will like it if you're a coffee. Oh, right in the nick of time. There he is.
Yay! Timing is awesome.
It is. You sit there for 54 minutes and watch, and then all of a sudden everything just craps out.
Yeah, timing,
glad
good
you're
timing and
back.
good lighting. All right, Mike, we were talking about trucking a few minutes ago before you cacked out there. Are there more trucks on the road? You're a truck driver. Do you know that, or is that just Leslie hallucinating?
It's a good question. I'm not exactly sure. You don't know who to believe. Supposedly, there's a shortage of truck drivers in the industry. I believe that there's actually just a shortage of good-paying, good truck driving jobs. That's what I think.
Okay.
I think that a lot of truck drivers get jacked around and they get disgusted by it, and they go out of the industry as fast as they came into it.
And you have been driving a truck. In addition, you started Roast2Order several years ago, but you've been driving a truck for a long time, right?
Yeah, I've had my commercial driver's license since 1996, early 96. So, and I owned a trucking business, and it's a way to kind of pay the bills when the coffee's not.
Okay. Well, we want people to buy your coffee, of course, and I get texts and emails all the time. Deborah sent me an email. Hey, just got another order. Delicious, and really glad you turned us on to this, and da da da.
Thank you.
So yes, and Mike is a salt of the earth guy. We want to support guys like Mike, right? Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Now you have a video. Let's play the video, and then we're going to give away the gift cards. What's the video about?
Well, I wanted today's topic to be pressing coffee, because it's kind of a mystery. I know Leslie does it and enjoys it, and I thought for some reason, Garry, that you
okay. Here I am. Listen, I'm Mr. Bungle here. So Mike sends me what I thought was a press, because he sent me coffee to go in the press. So I'm looking at the thing. I'm thinking, okay, if I put this down in there, how do I get the coffee out? And I'm goofing with this thing for weeks. And then my daughter was in town, and I said, hey, can you help me do this coffee press? Because you do this kind of thing. And she looked at it and she said, that's not a press. That's a canister to store coffee.
And you do have the best vacuum canisters.
Oh my God.
They are, and that in and of itself is a tactile experience, because you press this thing down and you can hear the air being released, so that your coffee remains fresh for a good long time. But
yeah, well,
you'll hear it on this video.
Okay, so here we go with a press situation.
So this was put together by, there's the canister.
That's the canister I have, which I thought was a press. That's where you store the beans. Okay,
don't press in there.
Now you grind them.
It's a recommended grinder that we like.
Okay, do you
sell
grinders too?
No, we do not, but I recommend that particular one.
What is it?
It's the Capresso Infinity Plus.
Okay, and then you pour the boiling water in there.
Stir it.
Stir it.
Magic! Look at that creamy foam on top. It's called the crema.
And then you push that thing down, and something explodes in the backyard.
actually, what's so sweet is that you never have grounds in your coffee, because that fine filter that is the top of the press pushes all those grounds to the bottom, and you just get a clean cup of coffee.
You can find it, depending on, if you push too hard, it will actually force those to come up through the screen. Right. You also might get something at the bottom called silt, which some people don't like, but you can pour that liquid through a filter, through like a regular coffee filter, and then you can have it be completely void of grounds or silt or anything like that. But I've gotten used to it. I don't mind it, drinking that stuff. It's
okay, but you also have ground coffee. If you want to put it right in your coffee maker, that's
you don't have to buy a grinder. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
You can do the regular stuff, and Mike ships all over the country. It takes a couple days, and there it is. And as I said, the aroma is magnificent.
Thank you.
And you have the pods that are recyclable.
Right.
And what else can you tell us that I haven't mentioned?
I was watching and I saw you talking about your other sponsors, and boy, that Wagoneer sure looks cool.
I know. They just reintroduced that. Isn't that sweet?
I love that. I've loved those since they came out. I'm working with David Hochberg right now on something that he calls Get Behind the Vest. It's a program for Chicago Police. And we have something called Coffee for Cause. And so through the Coffee for Cause organization, we're able to set up, much like we've done for the Get Behind the Vest program, a link into our Roast2Order website, whereby anybody who comes in through that link and orders, we automatically contribute back a portion of the proceeds to the Get Behind the Vest program. David's got an ambitious goal of raising $500,000 this year. We'd love to be a big part of that for Get Behind the Vest. And so David is talking about us now on his radio show that he does here locally on WGN on Saturday mornings. And I believe he's talking about us during other radio.
Yes, and I'm going to have David on it in the next week or so. And this is one of those things where you think, well, wait a minute, shouldn't the police be given a bulletproof vest as part of their uniform? Same thing as those dogs that retire from the airport and police forces. Shouldn't the government be taking care of them? What is missing here? Well, something is, and that's where David and you're stepping up to help out, which is commendable. So yes, that's what David does. That's what Mike does. That's why I love these guys. And that's why we want to support their businesses.
Thank you.
Roast2Order.shop is the website to order all that. And we're going to knock off 5 gift cards right here.
Sure.
And the winners will get the electronic gift card so they can order right away off their email, right?
Right. And so I need to get their email addresses. They can email you, of course, or text message you. And then with their email address, then I will send out the card through email. I've been following up as well, because sometimes these emails do wind up in promotion folders or in spam filters, depending on what they have set up. I recommend people whitelisting at roast2order.shop, since that's where those emails are going to be coming from. And then that helps you as well if you're on our newsletter list or whatever, that you get our twice a month newsletters, which have offers.
We are going to news. It's the top of the hour. And
Sorry, we have to cut this in.
We'll be back in 8 minutes.
Commercial break.
12 more like it.
Right. But so we'll send that gift card out to them through email, and it's a very cool thing.
All right, we're going to spin the computer right now, and first of all, Christine wants to know what's my Band-Aid situation. I got a Bugs Bunny, I got a camouflage Band-Aid sent to me by a listener.
See that one?
And this is the camo, and this is the Tasmanian Devil. I'm not highlighting the bugs thing by itself because that would be rude. The Queen is dead. Damn it! Have some courtesy. Let's hit the computer there. Hashtag roast to order.
Oh,
David.
There.
David's going to get a $20 gift card. He gets a gift card. All right, let's reload and hit it again. All right. Barbara Lynn. All right. She's a winner. All right, 3 more to go. Here we go. You
can get hoarse.
Janine, winner. All right. And 2 more going out. 2 more. Here we go.
This is so exciting.
Charlie. All right. You don't get this on Rogan.
No.
That's right, damn it. All right, and 1 more going out. Beth. Congrats. All right, all of you text me 773-888-2157 with your address, and we'll get that off to Mike, and then you'll get your gift card electronically. Awesome. Mike, thank you so much for your support. It's much appreciated, and all you do for the program. And you're going to be on every month doing this. And
I saw a question come by. If I could just address it quickly, Tracy. Yes, you can order gift cards for yourself, or you can give them out as gifts too. So you just go to our website. It's one of the items that you'll find in the shop.
Right in the title, gift card. I like that. Mm-hmm. Leslie's got that late sun coming. Look at it. She's kind of got a
glow.
She's got a kabuki look going on.
Well, there's also
something
less
in
of
that
my
bottle.
wine than when I started, but yeah,
well, that too.
There's a lot causing glows.
That's why we do
this,
guys. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Leslie, Keith, Ryan, Alan, and we'll talk to you Monday. Have a great weekend. Let's give out that cannoli. It's complimentary. Here it comes down the aisle. It's beautiful. Nice. Nice. What about the schnauzer, Leslie?
I would cover my schnauzer in coffee because it's just going to smell so good.
You are
press
sassy.
The schnauzer.
Wow. Sassy.
Yeah. You could press the schnauzer. Better still.
Oh, right. All right. Flying dirty. We're 3 in the green. Gear is down. Flaps are down. The voice of the globe. The finger gun says, we have landed.
Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
If you like that, I got other stuff I think you're going to like. This is the GarrForce
Like and subscribe, like and subscribe.
Yeah.
And please, please, please tell your friends and family to like and subscribe too.
All right. Yeah.
More eyeballs. It's a good thing.
Boom. Shakalaka.